Well, good day, everybody. We are very blessed to have with us today for this one of our VelocityR interviews is Jess Ast. She is a senior manager of operations for the American Airlines Pilot Cadet Academy, and we are very blessed to have her with us today. She's extremely busy, so we're going to keep this to somewhere in the 20 to 30-minute range of these interviews, but I think you'll find it fascinating to be able to speak directly to somebody like Jess, who is in charge of these programs that are very prevalent within the industry, but specifically to American Airlines. So first of all, Jess, I'd like to welcome you to the VelocityR video series. I think you're number 6 or 7 in the video series, so it's a privilege to have you here with us today. Can you tell us
Well,
a little bit about yourself and your background?
yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that introduction. So I have been with American Airlines for about 10 years and been within the flight organization the entire time. Cadet Academy specific of 3 years or so, just maybe a little bit over. Definitely one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. It brings my flight training background with my business degree, the flight organization at American, the expectations, and I get to bring it to the forefront. So day one of training, and it's a privilege and a blessing.
Well, and that's one of the unique things about you is that you have both flight experience and management experience, which kind of
Mhm.
brings the two together in this cadet program. And I'd like to sort of expound on that and ask you a few questions if you have some time
Sure,
to discuss
absolutely.
the cadet. Okay.
Yeah.
What sparked the idea of the American Airlines Cadet Program in the first place? What problems were you really trying to solve?
Yeah, so our cadet academy with American Mainline came after our wholly owned regional cadet programs spooled up. So there's really two thought processes in this, right? So our wholly owned cadet programs, which wholly owns mean the three airlines, the regional carriers that American owns, PSA, Envoy, and Piedmont. They started from the university path and the hour building path. And then in 2018, American launched the American Airlines Cadet Academy, which is really bringing it into phase one, day one private pilot training. We look at our flight schools for training, and we have partners that conduct the training from a flight school aspect. It's really the non-collegiate route is what you kind of put it as, but it then turns into the pathway of the regional cadet programs. When we first started in 2018, our initiative was really just to create pilots for the industry, right? We didn't have a specific um, guaranteed look at the flow from day one all the way up to American Mainline. And at that time, our graduates come out with a guaranteed regional carrier interview as a first officer with our wholly owns. That has since changed, and we can talk about that later, but that's since changed. And being that it's been a few years since 2018, you can expect changes to a program. But yeah, it was really quite simple. There was a forecasted need for pilots. A lot of the airlines were starting to spool up cadet programs. And now, as you can understand, every single airline has a cadet program. So it's industry wide.
Perfect. And for the cadet program, who is this program a great fit for? And
Mm-hmm.
conversely, who is it not a good fit for?
Yeah, as you can imagine, we have thousands of applications actually. And you're right, not all of them is a great fit. There are many, many ways, various pathways to become a pilot for American or cargo, corporate, etc. And saying that there's multiple ways to do this. You can go through the cadet program, which is really the ideal for me and what I speak towards. But if you want to become a cargo pilot, corporate pilot, any of those categories, the American Cadet Program is not the best fit for you. In addition, there's two entry points, right? So we want to look at there's the flight school path, which is my specific focus, and then there's a university or later on your hour building path, which is more the regional focus. But somebody who's a great fit, especially when we look at applicants, we're looking at their genuine passion, we're looking at their drive, their motivation, how people speak on behalf of them. We want to see that you actually want to do this career for you. Um, Unlike somebody who may be wanting to do this career because they hear it's really good money, or it's a lot of fun, or there's like this luxury lifestyle included with it. You being an airline pilot truly understand that it's not all luxury. It's not all fun. There's actually work and intensity and just this determination of commitment you have to give to it. So I know that's a lot of soft skills, There's obviously a lot of technical savviness behind it, a huge skill set there. But from what we look at in our applicants, a great fit is somebody who really, truly, genuinely wants this and has a passion and drive for it.
Excellent. Okay. This next one's a bit long, so I've actually got to read it. If you were explaining the cadet journey to someone brand new to aviation, how would you describe the path from day one to eventually flying at American?
Yeah, this is a bit long and a little bit long of an answer too. Because when we go talk to audiences, we're not just talking to somebody who's in high school. We're not just talking to somebody's parents or second career. It's actually a combination of everybody. So when we're talking to these different audiences, it is a little bit of a different story. It's going to be a different look for everybody. But one of the first things we start off with is, why do you even want to do this career? And how do you plan on doing this? And then really the biggest question is, who are you doing this for? Sometimes, pilots love to have their kids follow in their footsteps, or you see your uncle or your aunt out there and they're a pilot and having a great quality of life. You're seeing them down the road and you want to be just like them. So really the who is a big, big deal. And you really have to understand that you're doing this for yourself. It's your journey with a big support system. So when I'm talking to somebody who's interested in it, that's really the starting questions I come up with. How they answer that then kind of goes into, how do I explain it? Just their wealth of knowledge, their background, whether it's high school, a parent, or a previous career, or even a college grad. To begin, as I said, we have a variety of audience. Our average age is in the mid to upper 20s that enter our program. So it's not just person fresh out of high school, but it does have a variety. Our second career folks, we do have people all the way up into their 30s that join, and they say, you know what, I had a great career and now I want to do what I always wanted to do. I want to fly airplanes. And you can, because retirement's not till 65. So in our world, a couple of the minimum qualifications that take some explaining if you don't understand this. You need to do a discovery flight, which you can find at your local airport. You need to have a first class medical before you can even apply. And the reason for that is you are investing a huge amount of money into this training with a pathway to American. American being a Part 121 carrier, you have to have a first class medical. So you can look that up as well. It's an aviation medical examiner that would do that for you. Then the third biggest, which is one of the bigger stressors in the program, is the financing. You do have to find a way to pay for this. We do have a great partner with our American Airlines Credit Union that has a loan product, but is not required to use that. They do conduct financial wellness and budgeting sessions for our program specifically, which is great because it's not just about how do I pay for each lesson, it's how do I pay for a full-time commitment into this program. So those are the big qualifiers that we really start off with. Once people kind of work through that and the understanding of that, we talk about, what does a good applicant look like? You're applying to this, it's like a job. Your application here, your interview and your acceptance is your last one to American. And that's a big deal. So we have a very stringent selection process. Your application needs to talk about you. It's about you. Your resume needs to be on there. You need to have letters of recommendation on there. We don't know you, so we're asking you to have others talk on your behalf. Please use as little AI generated information as possible. You laugh at that, but it's like one of our biggest things. It's just so incredible how people you can tell the difference between somebody who is genuinely speaking and the same answer you get over and over and over again because they asked ChatGPT or some equivalent tool. So we want to see you. Once you get through the interview, I mean, we can talk in details about that down the road, but your day one of acceptance, you are committing now, and this is the change in our program, to fly for American. So not only are you signing an offer with us to do your flight training, you're signing with Envoy, PSA, or Piedmont. And that is now your flow. You will work through your training with the cadet program, at one of our flight schools, earn 6 certificates, and once you graduate, then you go into hour building, typically as an instructor. And that hour building you can equate to getting your bachelor's degree, right? So that's earning your certificates, might be an associate's degree, hour building, bachelor's degree. You are required to get 1,500 hours to become an airline transport pilot. Those are the minimums under our program. That could be different if you're going university or some sort of college program. And then once you receive that, you flow into your class as a first officer, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
pretty amazing journey.
it is, and it's you got to be careful. You got to remain humble a little bit because that person sitting next to you in the flight deck will not most likely didn't have the same journey as so.
Well, and in that regard, like when you talk to cadets, what parts of the program do they say help them the most when the training gets tough?
Yeah, and the training does get tough, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Um, and it doesn't stop. That's one thing. It's you don't graduate the cadet program and all of a sudden it stops. You're constantly training, constantly learning as a pilot, always doing check rides. So don't think just because you're done. Those check rides and exams keep coming.
They never stop.
Um, they never stop. But one thing we do is we have a mentorship program with our cadet academy, and those mentors are American Airlines mainline pilots who volunteer their time to give back to the industry and to our cadets. One of the biggest things that our cadets say coming out of this program was, man, thank goodness for that support system. That is so substantial to your success in the program. We can give you a support system, my team, the mentors, your flight schools, your instructors, but you also have to build that support system surrounding you, that personal mentorship, your peer-to-peer communication. So I would say the biggest thing during tough times is a support system. However, that support system doesn't work unless if you communicate. So when we come in, we teach what's called an indoctrination class. It's about expectations, how to get through it, what to look for, what to do. And the biggest thing we talk about is communication. If you don't speak up early enough, you won't be able to move forward as easily. And you know that you have a constant mentorship program throughout your entire career. And pilots being pilots never want to stop talking to the people that they are mentoring.
Hmm.
And your success as a cadet, as a mentee, is also their success. And I would say they take it very, very seriously to the point where you really can't get rid of your mentor once they're there, which is a good thing. It's a good thing.
Well, that communication piece carries forward through your entire career. I mean, just look at cockpit
Mm-hmm.
resource management and, talking between the two pilots on the flight deck at the time and
Mm-hmm.
working through issues. Communication is key. Um, Given that and the selectees that you bring into the cadet programs, what habits or mindsets do you hope cadets start building early, that will help them succeed later at the airline?
Mark, this is one of my favorite topics. I can talk about this topic all day long, and you and I have for
Yep.
hours. So when you put this question on there, I was like, oh, he knows. And thank goodness it was halfway through because I could talk about this all day. But what we say and what I like to talk about is how to be a professional within your profession, excuse me. So what does that mean? Um, we really strive as the Cadet Academy team to help our cadets with more of the soft skills, the professionalism sort of it. Um, it's really about what does it mean to be safe. Safety is such a mindset to a pilot. It should be an automatically ingrained item that we always talk about, but it's really crucial to being a professional. Like we just talked about, clear communication. Nobody teaches you how to speak. You'll learn checklists all day long. You'll learn how to talk to air traffic control all day long. But how do you talk to each other in the flight deck? How do you feel okay speaking to your instructor? Maybe where you think it's out of turn, but it's really not. It's a safety factor. It's an understanding and development and growth. And that you carry through to, your being a first officer, or even teaching others, talking to your captain, your chief pilot, all the way up through leadership. And that brings a sense throughout that safety, that communication, it brings a sense of self-awareness, which a lot of us, pilots especially, type A personalities, don't like to talk about ourselves, or when we do, we're doing great. And so we really try to ingrain in our cadets from day one that it's okay to be not okay. But you have to speak up, and you have to learn what threats mean and how that can prevent good things from happening, or in a flight deck, or with your student or surrounding you. So there's a lot of bullet points that can go under that professionalism piece, and we do stress on that a lot. It's funny because you might have thought, oh, she was going to be here talking about how to be a great pilot, do those stalls and those steep turns and all those technical skills. Like I mentioned earlier in this, is that we have really great flight school partners that bring that training and that development forward. We trust them. They have a proven history of doing wonderful, wonderful, and creating great pilots. So our purpose is, how do we develop that captain for American Airlines? How do we develop that piece of it, so that way when they come to the flight deck at American, they are that presence that we want to see. They are that person that when they walk up to the gate at an airport, all the passengers look at them and say, I'm excited for them to be my pilot, even if they look like they're 16, because, they look
And
younger and younger every day.
yes,
So,
and I mean, when I had the chance to meet you in person over in Trenton, is it Infinity Flight Group?
yes, Infinity Flight Group.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they were, I mean, coming with 40 years of experience in the airline industry, they were fantastic. I mean, what an operation that is.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great to see that. And I listened to what you say and how the program here has developed. And I have to be honest, I wish I had some of this guidance early
Mm-hmm.
in my career, so I feel like the cadets coming in, the people coming into the American Airlines Cadet Academy are getting great, great guidance. And I think that's, hats off to you and your team on that one. Obviously, COVID and now beyond, the industry has changed a lot over the last few years. How has the Cadet Academy or program adjusted, and what should future pilots know right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's always a change and an adjustment in this industry, and anybody that's walking into this that's not aware of that with aviation, that's something to come open-minded about. What happens today and what's on paper today may change tomorrow. So the flexibility is really key in being adaptable. About 2 years ago, we moved from that FO guaranteed interview program style to more of a, how do we make this a guaranteed path to American? Now our cadets have to do the work. They have to progress in ways under the terms of our agreements. However, we were looking at, how do we ensure that the people that we're investing in, we can get a return on our investment and have great pilots, for the people that we are trying to serve. So that was the biggest change most recently. I would say as we grow or as we scale, it may not be scaling with growth, as far as numbers go, but it's scaling in a sense of growth in our foundation, and how do we bring a best in class product and service to the people that we are, trying to support to become pilots for American. As well as, how do we educate and how do we expose? We've really adjusted our portfolio to be more of an American Airlines group portfolio for our flight schools, where they're based, what we can give to our cadets, how do we get American involved? And then also on the flip side, how do we educate and expose early on, through, either organizations within the industry, early education, going out and speaking to different people. It may not be based on the cadet program itself, but just the industry and what does it mean to be a pilot. So some of our messaging has changed. Our program really, the core focus really hasn't changed um, based on flight training, the expectations, but the path has changed. It's been modified. And so as we go forward, it's more of just how do we continue to create this experience that both the pilot in training wants to see and then American wants to see on the other end.
Excellent. Now, obviously, you've had this video, you've been kind enough to answer questions. So
Mhm.
we'll finish up with an important one. For someone watching this video right now and listening to you, who's dreaming about an airline career, what's the one piece of advice that you want to leave them with right now?
Oh, that's really hard. There's so much that I could leave with, and obviously a lot we talked about today, but I cannot just express how much fun this career really is and how rewarding it really is. Um, I started off, my whole goal in life was to be an airline pilot. I wanted to be just like, those role models in my life. And my life changed and I changed directions. And so outside of it's just a lot of fun, it's rewarding, there's a high quality of life. I would say please be flexible, be adaptable, learn to grow, and take that feedback. There's a lot of people that have done this prior to you, me, those that are coming up through the pipeline. And that experience and understanding that mentorship and expertise is crucial. It is good to listen, but it is also necessary for you to own your path and your journey in this.
That is fantastic advice. Again, probably stuff I wish I had when I began my aviation career.
Same. Yeah.
Um, Jess, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you spending time with us today and describing and giving us a great idea of what the American Airlines Cadet Academy is all about.
Mhm.
And at some level, what, becoming an airline pilot, the process that you go through is all about. And I would say unequivocally that what you have developed, what you have built at American Airlines is something that is incredibly valuable to those that are considering to become an airline pilot. And I hope that this video gets out there and people understand
Mhm.
just how special the Cadet Academy is at American Airlines and how special it is to have you running it, somebody with the experience and the background, both in the management side and the pilot side. I think that's incredibly unique. And I think American is very blessed to have you there. And so I thank you so much for your time. I know you're very busy and I wish you the best.
Well, thank you, Mark. I appreciate this chance and the opportunity. Have
All
a
right.
wonderful
Take care.
Take care.
Bye bye.